morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Mary Fant Donnan with the Alleghany Foundation, and the foundation is one of 4 original partners in creating the Vision 2025 gathering. My job is to give you a little bit of background, and then I'm going to walk you through the agenda for the next couple of hours. But in the way of background, it was in 2012-13, community members were beginning to talk about how can we really change some trends that are disturbing all of us. Our population is in decline. We have seen industry leave our area. Jobs are down. And though we know much of that is technology related as much as it is jobs presence, lots of changes were underway in our economy. And yet here we are, a Highlands region, where as someone who didn't grow up here, I always say it's not only friendly, which is part of its reputation, it's also a place that people love. And as soon as I arrived, I found that pretty much everybody I meet that lives here talks about how much they love the Alleghany Highlands. So if we care about our place and we care about our community and we're going through a lot of economic change, the conversation that took place then was to say, so what can we do to change those trends? And I think step 1 was to have several preliminary conversations. I want to shout out to Liz Povar. She's no longer with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, but at the time she was really helpful and said, well, here's some of the things that are changing, and here's some of the things that we see that are strong in your area around tourism, even though that's not what we do. But you live in a beautiful place. We in the Richmond area recognize the Alleghany Highlands are gorgeous. So we went through a process of looking around and learning. And in the end, in March of 2013, had a gathering in this room very similar to today, just to see would anybody show up. Because you know what? Half of getting things done is being there. So fortunately, the room was full then, as it is today, and we went from a process of talking about what could we do, not just one thing, but what 5 or 6 things could we do? And we began a visioning process, and that was launched in May of that same year, 2013. And so we're coming together today to say that with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, we ended up with, at the time, 6 working groups, 5 of which have continued over the last 5 years, and have really begun forming the structures and focus and implementation that it takes to make things happen. And as much as I came from more of a planning background, and I love big, big plans, and I think we did that with our data and looked at what the challenges were, my career has taught me that really when you have activity by passionate people who keep making an effort and a focus on important work for communities, good things happen. So we created Vision 2025 by name with the notion that decline doesn't happen overnight and rebuilding won't happen overnight. So we picked a 12-year timeline. Ambitious, perhaps, because many times decline takes place over 30 to 50 years. So we definitely didn't want to go in the other direction that slow, but we recognize that it's important to come together and celebrate the steps that it takes to implement new ideas and move them forward. And whereas I have a little bit of reality that the numbers aren't where we want to be. All of you elected officials dealing with budgets this spring know the numbers aren't where you want them to be either. And we're all talking about some of those challenges. And those will continue to be the parts that motivate us looking ahead. But for the time being, celebrating the good things that we are doing, taking a hard look at the challenges that lie ahead, and figuring out what do we need to keep doing from here as a community to support the Alleghany Highlands that we love. So welcome to those conversations. They are a work in progress. When you leave here today, I hope everyone has found one thing that you want to do to make our community stronger. And in the meantime, we'll take a little while to look and reflect at where we are. With those background remarks, I want to give some thank yous. First to the college. Dr. Rainoni, thank you so much for making this wonderful facility available to us. I love so much about the college. The campus is beautiful, what it does with our students, our faculty here. It's a phenomenal asset for the Alleghany Highlands. And I just think this room is cool. And it shows that we are a 21st century community. We know how to use technology. poor Billy somewhere running around getting a circuit to work, and thank you, Billy. You're a wonderful help to us. But we are here, and we are really proud of what we have in our community. I also want to recognize some wonderful leaders who come from outside our community right now, but represent the political leadership and support that we receive through our state agencies. And I saw Gwen Mason walk in with Senator Kane's office. She's right in front of me. Thank you, Gwen, for making the effort to be here. And I saw Beth Dowdy with the Regional Partnership. Thank you, Beth. We appreciate you. Were here 6 years now ago, so we appreciate building those connections. And then Eddie Wells with the Roanoke Valley Alleghany Regional Partnership, another very important partner in helping us build the connections and the funding that keep this work moving forward. I also want to recognize the folks in the room who are our local elected officials. I see Steve Bennett at the back here as our county supervisor chair, and next to him I see Joan Vandersall, and then I see, whoops, better change bodies. Let me see if I have any supervisors that I missed in the room. I want to thank you for your leadership, and then David Olgen is here from the town of Clifton Forge, also a county resident, but thank you for making the effort to be here. And then I saw Mayor Seibel, who's here on the front, and Darlene, as our city manager, is here, town manager, sorry, Clifton Forge, but we appreciate all the elected officials and the public managers, John Lamford as well as our county manager, who really get the work that happens day in and day out. And I want to say on behalf of this public sector, local government groups, we could not be having this conversation if we didn't have the basics in our community, which are sort of a given anymore. You gotta have roads, you gotta have water sewer, you have to have the leadership with passion for the community, or nothing happens that is your very base level for all of us to thrive. So thank you all for what you're doing in your free time as our volunteer elected officials. So, given that this partnership is about lots of people from lots of places coming together, before I sit down, I'm going to ask all of those in the private sector to stand. Private sector. Becky? Please. Thank you. All of you who work in the public sector, please stand. Stay standing. All of you who have been part of one of our Vision 2025 groups, please stand. All of you who are residents of the Alleghany Highlands, please stand. And all of you who are not residents of the Alleghany Highlands, please stand. Not many, but those that did, we'll look forward to your being in that previous category next time, okay? We're open for business and we want to see people here. With that introduction, I want to welcome John Rhodes, who's going to lead us to the sort of review of kind of economic development, some of the strategies. We will hear from each of our working group leaders. We'll take a break. We're going to leave this building and go over to the Moomaw Center for discussions. We need everybody's bright minds, so refresh with some snacks and coffee at the break, and then walk next door, and we'll finish up today by 11:30. John is a consultant with Morenstall & Boyer. He is the person that we selected, having been through several interviews back in 2012, to try to see if he could help our community support our efforts. And with a bit of an insight from his site consultant experience and his work in other states, as well as Virginia, we found that he's been a really helpful part of guiding the information flow that helps us reflect on what we're doing. And John, I welcome you here. Thank you for coming.